YouTube again. So basically the most, oh, what the hell is my camera position again? So basically the most wholesome YouTube commenter, right? Asked for an Ahri versus Yasuo matchup, and anybody feel too free to ask for any type of matchup guides, gameplay reviews on my YouTube channel, right? Definitely, here is the matchup, of course, right? Here. So here's the matchup you requested, Pesare Irani, right? Anybody feel too free, of course, to ask for any matchups, right? Now let's see. Let's see how much can we learn out of this matchup, right? Let's check his runes. Let's see what he goes for, right? Does he show his runes? He does show his runes, so he goes for Conqueror. As I've seen a lot of Yasuo players in higher ranks, they somehow switched from Lethal Tempo to Conqueror. Maybe there is a word where it scales better and that's why they go for it, because the AD you get from Conqueror can crit. Maybe that's why, because usually Lethal Tempo, I assume it's better in early fights, but maybe Conqueror scales better, I don't even know, honestly, possibly, right? He has the knock up team comp, right? So generally you wanna pick Yasuo if you have some level of knock ups. If you don't have any knock ups in your team comp, mid late game will suck. It will suck to be you if you reach the mid late game parts of the game, right? That's my opinion. Now he went for standard runes, tenacity, MR against Ahri, second wind for healing against her pokes, alacrity, general thing, triumph, then again, and the other thing as well, Coup de Grace, just for a bit of a finisher damage. So yeah, I actually can't even say for 100% if Conqueror is better. Like in the early levels, definitely it's really cheesy to have lethal tempo, right? There is value into lethal tempo. I can't really judge it which one is better, but as I saw, mostly in these scaling oriented matchups, or in matchups where he can't really stack lethal tempo, he goes for Conqueror instead, right? But I can't really judge it if it's really better. I mean, on Yon, everybody still goes lethal tempo, nobody goes Conqueror, but Yasuo maybe works on a different logic, right? I play mostly Yon. I don't play Yasuo that much, although I know how the champion functions, right? So, okay, game started out, right? So watch where he's going, right? He's not going to mid lane, so most of the lower ranked people would just sit on mid lane and wait until the game starts, until the minions come. Now there is a more important thing to do. Watch out where he moves, right? He will guard this area, right? Or this area. In here, right? In here, right? Because this means that he covers for his jungle, so the enemy jungler doesn't steal his camps, or the enemy team doesn't invade on him or on his teammates, right? So it's definitely better to cover like some areas on the map instead of trying to just sit on mid lane, right? Because not every game, but let's say maybe 20% of your games, or what number it might be. I can't even say like a number for it, how many times this will help your teammates, and it doesn't cost you anything, right? It genuinely doesn't cost you anything just to sit here, guard, and wait until wait if they show up, ping your teammates off, right? Doesn't cost you anything. You don't lose anything out of it. Now, of course, there are some examples where you don't want to sit here. For example, if they have a Blitzcrank, he can just show up from this area, then he Qs Yasuo, so that's not fun. Then he has to W star to parry that or flash, which is kind of a problem, right? Also, if they have Blitzcrank or Trash or something, maybe you want to position something like this, like Pike, Nautilus, right? Because their abilities are extremely dangerous, so it's a bit safer. Generally, it's a bit safer if they have like a strong CC ability, like a Morgana Q, whatever, right? Because if they ever connect, we are kind of close to the wall, right? So I would rather position like this, because we still would have vision around this area, right? That's my opinion, right? And their bot laners, of course, are covering the bot side of the map, but we don't see it because of my face, my mic, right? My camera, I mean. So as I said, they could be invading, right? So he was guarding for that, and he's hovering back, he's going back, he's looking if they are going downwards or if they are going backwards. If he would go back, then he wouldn't have vision on the Ahri, on the Yumi, and possibly they would go downwards, because if Yasuo doesn't follow them, we don't have vision of where they are going to, right? That there is a word where they actually then steal the red, right? So he's guarding right now, right? He's just guarding. Now he went for D-Shield, right? Watch out, he went for D-Shield because this matchup pokes him a lot. He just wants to survive the early levels with D-Blade. It's really hard to survive. It's hard to survive against a good Ahri, right? Even Ahri has sustain in her kit and she has corrupting potion, so... Let's see what he starts, right? Usually Ahri players start with W, right? Now, for a reason Ahri does this and for a reason Yasuo does this. So here's the thing. Ahri stays here because he wants to go for some pokes, for some level 1 zoning, because Yasuo can't really deal with Ahri, right? But what Yasuo could then do, or he already does it actually, he already does it. So in hard matchups like Ahri early on, you can't do much about her if you don't have your tornado, right? But if you stack with your Q from Raptors, right? You Q the Raptors, you get 1 stack of tornado, then you Q again. Watch out, he Qs again. Now he has pressure in lane, now he can step up, right? Now he is allowed to step up because Ahri can't just play so aggressively anymore because of the tornado pressure, right? Now again, like, watch how he's tethering. Ahri is moving forward, and he's moving backwards because he doesn't want to be poked. There is nothing to last it, so he's spacing accordingly, right? There's nothing to last it, watch, and this is what most of the Yasuo players wouldn't do. They would just get poked, they would get queued, they would get... And he's even playing around the electrocute proc. So in here, if he turned back for one more auto attack, he would be electrocuted by Ahri. He would lose something like this amount of HP, right? And that's not ideal. That's not an ideal situation for him, right? And look how healthy he is, right? Almost full HP from the shield, and he doesn't lose out too much. And now he steps up when his shield is up and when he can last it something, right? Really important to play around, right? His shield is up. His D-shield already healed him from one poke, right? So it's coming up. So his movement is really important. And Ahri took some chip damage from the minions because he was fighting Yasuo, right? So here is how you win like these poking matchups, right? This is how you win against these early game poking matchups. She threw her tornado, he tried to go for a... I guess he didn't predict. He just threw his tornado. Okay. So Ahri apparently has the biscuits early game, right? In general, you don't really want to trade with her if she has biscuits. If she has inspiration second, most likely she has biscuits. If she has corrupting potions, which means she gets bonus movement speed if she uses them as well, she's really healthy. So it's not really good to go for trades with her because she's gonna heal a lot from her Q as well. So it's hard to actually deal with her. Like early on, you just want to survive. That's your point, right? You wanna get at least level 3, level 6 ideally, right? Level 1, level 2 you don't do much. Level 2 you can possibly all-in her, right? But it's really the game of guessing. You have to guess whenever does she throw her E, right? Like if you can guess whenever she is, then you are in a good spot, but it's like... So we saw his quick movement again, right? So he eat forward. He was in the charm range of Ahri, right? But he always like kept sidestepping, so watch out on his movement, right? Ahri's E, right? Watch out on his movement. Ahri didn't use her E yet, right? So he's constantly like dashing in, auto attacks, dashing out, right? And he even got an auto swing on Ahri. So he did everything in such a quick succession in here, right? Now he's level 3 right now he has the wind wall. He can parry her E, he can parry her Q, right? Really important abilities. Okay, so in here he still gives a softer approach to the matchup. Now he could back off a little more when he got hit by the Ahri Q, so he could just walk out of its range and not try to sidestep it. That's a thing he could do, but it's really not a big deal, of course. Now even in here he could ban W all of that, right? Because electrocute wouldn't be procced, his HP wouldn't be chipped down. There isn't really like a reason to hold that much into your W. Unless if it's good against the enemy jungler, if he's looking to dive, but generally speaking I would W that definitely. I don't think so there will be a better W target, right? Like Ahri went for an auto, I do believe. Or in here he procs his passive, right? And in here she went for a really good like auto W all that trade, right? And yeah, he definitely went for a full combo, right? He autoed Q W, right? And we would parry the auto, the W, the Q, right? Like we would parry like so many things, right? And I'm not sure, I'm 100% that Yasuo can parry Ahri's W, but I think he can, right? Okay. So he uses his potion, right? Alright, so watch out on his movement. He is kinda low right now, so he needs to be careful with the Ahri charms. He's constantly looking to involve her charm, right? Charm missed, right? Now he could possibly dash and look for a possible all-in. Although he's one level behind, but I think he was a tiny bit slow. Maybe there is a ward where he would kill him, right? Let's see. let's check again, right? So before her Q hits, right, there was like an angle in here, no? Okay. In here he could band dash forward before her her Q connects, right? But it takes a lot of reaction time, right? And that's definitely something he could band if he dodges the Q with the E, or he predicts it, then he finds a better all-in angle. Now this is completely fine as well. Now he will go for a Q flash. Oh, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. So, yep. So he had like some slight micro mistakes which led Ahri to poke him, right? Because there were some rare scenarios where he got auto-attacked, poked, when he wasn't trading minions for HP. And there was like a bigger issue when he didn't parry her Q W auto combo, which led her to proc electrocute, slight mistake, which led him to lose a lot of HP, right? Then what eventually happened, Ahri just flashed away, right, in here. So in here he started all in his HP got. I mean, it's risky, right? Like, it's really a risky thing to go into such a skill check while being one level behind. If ideally if you would like CS until like at least level 4, right? So we are even with levels, then the chances would be better to kill her, right? And in here he W's, right? But the problem is Ahri got buffed, right? She gets speed from W, she gets speed from corrupting, she has biscuits in her inventory, she has corrupting potions, right? Like, it's really difficult to kill her like that. Maybe that Q would kill. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I don't 10 Conqueror sex but no D-Blade. Maybe there is a world where that would hit if Ahri doesn't flash it, right? And in here he tried to greed, right? So in here he had the mindset of greeding, right? And I think if he played it a bit more patiently, it would be a bit better, because now she had speed. And in here, what he could ban do, he could ban like flash or predict her charm, right? Like, you can either predict it or flash it. Now from a long range, it's easy to like just react to her charm, but the problem is it doesn't really get an E angle, so it's like awkward. Like, it's really awkward to fight her, because if you don't get an EQ opportunity to flash on her directly, then I wouldn't try it, right? So like, I think the main problem was he was really like reading on this. He was really trying to force a play, but apparently the Ahri is really mechanical as well, right? The Ahri really knows what he's doing, right? But in general, like in lower ranks, what you should watch out, if Ahri misses her charm, or if you can W her charm, often you can find an all-in angle with your tornado, especially after 6. Right now, what else you can do in this matchup? As I said, stack up your tornado, get the first 3 minions. At level 2 you can possibly get an all-in angle. In lower ranks, people will possibly start with Q instead of W, which is better for you, because if Ahri starts with Q, you stay in between your minions, and if she Qs the wave and Qs you, it doesn't even matter if it hits you, because you have the shield and the shield, right? It will push the wave, which will grant you more CS, right? Aside of that, if Ahri doesn't make her charm second, like you see, she revealed that he made her Q and W, and she does not have the charm yet. At level 2 you can find an all-in angle with your E and Qs, right? Aside of that, like, Wing her E is generally like a good thing, which allows you to go for an all-in, right? And here he just sadly gets caught, right? Yeah, so let's go a tiny bit backwards, so let's see what happens, right? So in here, we don't have enough vision over the map, right? We don't have enough vision on the bot side, we don't have enough vision on the top side of the map, right? So he's taking a risk. Certainly, if you don't set up enough wards, enough control wards, he definitely had money for a control ward as well, then it means you are taking a risk by fighting. So the safe play would be is not walking to the lane directly, but walking like this and warding this bush, right? That would be generally safer, right? Because then we have at least a vision over one side of the map, and we can like hover around it, right? Okay. And in here, he tries to commit for an all-in, of course, right? He W's a bit preemptively because Ahri didn't charms, but it's really hard to react in melee range, so in here he couldn't. I mean, it looks like it's a hitbox hit, right? It could ban miss as well, right? But what he could ban doing here, he could just flash out of the charm range, so he's not risking getting charmed. Now you can sidestep it as well, but she can predict it too, so it's really like a game of guessing where she is and where to sidestep, right? And if you don't want to get into that, you can just flash out. That's the safest play, of course, right? Now in here what he's doing is trying to escape, right? He's trying to escape. He misses his Q. He wanted to Q back to get his tornado, so then his tornado gonna come up and knock them up, right? Now in here he had like a mistake, he flashed, that's really good, that wasn't a mistake. But he went back with literally no HP, and the problem is, Viego has Triumph, Viego can get a reset on Yasuo, right? And if he gets the reset, Karthus is in a problem, right? That's definitely a problem for Karthus, right? So, and in here he greets, like, I assume because his shield came back and he healed a little bit up from refillables, but he had no W, right? His W has 27 seconds cooldown, really long cooldown. I mean, the ability is strong, but it has a long cooldown, right? That's the reason why it has a long cooldown, right? So going back with no W up against like 2 skill shot champions, they have skill shots, means suicide for me, right? Yeah, like this can really easily happen, right? But then he gets the reset, kind of a bummer, he missed his kill. Yes, and that's, yeah. Also the Viego could then probably just Q the wave so it pushes a bit faster. Because this probably won't freeze, but I guess he didn't want it to. That would be a way to deny the CS as well from the Yasuo. I guess Ahri does it herself, it's not a big deal. And you see, like, sometimes it's really, there is a lots of wisdom into understanding to not force a fight, to not risk a fight, right? There's like lots of wisdom into playing around your strengths and your weaknesses, right? Like, definitely you don't want to non-stop fight with Yasuo, because if you understand the game as a fighting game and not as a resource management game or a MOBA, then eventually you will just fall off, because you can't really win every 1v1 at any point of the game, right? Let's see what he does. He got all the ward, he got Berserker Greaves, he got the wave, right? He's even moving his camera because maybe there is like a ward where he could get a gank done on top lane instead of recalling. So he watch out, he spends his recall time really wisely, because top lane is really the only lane he can gank right now. So he's just looking if maybe there is a ward where he dives the Riven, right? But no, not really. Like, until he would ward there, most likely Riven would just reset, right? We see this Riven is not bleeding, right? Now he has Berserker boots. Now this matchup gets a bit easier, right? It definitely, in fact, like every matchup does get easier, right? After getting Berserker boots, right? Sadly, we don't see again like what's going on in here from my camera. Maybe Ahri's bot lane, yes, Ahri is fighting. So he recognizes, he doesn't goes down, he recognizes that it's a waste of time. So he just pushes, gets his plates, right? There is no reason for him to try to force a fight there, definitely, right? Okay, so he's taking a plate, he was checking for raptors, also it's against the Viego gank, it helps you to have vision. Now in here he tries to get some Qs on the Viego. Maybe he gets a cheesy dive, but he needs to chip down Viego's HP a bit more for that, right? Okay. Now he can pick up the wave. Let's see if he picks up the wave. He sees Viego, right? It's against Viego as well, as I said, right? Now he sees Viego is hovering mid lane, right? If he doesn't shows up soon at the ward, at the control ward, to take the scuttle scrub, it means he will gank us. And the thing is, if Viego goes like this, right? He goes like this. We see my mouse. He goes like this, then Yasuo has no vision over it actually. And smart junglers in this rank, in these ranks of course, right? They definitely know to do that, right? Now Viego showed up, of course, right? Now he's roaming, right? He's rotating for it, but sadly there isn't like, yep, sadly there isn't much to. He's looking for some type of all-in angle, but there's not much to do. He just tried to go for a roam. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't, right? Okay. Like, I wish I knew how to move this camera. Maybe I will learn it someday, so So watch out what he did as well, right? So really important mechanic on Yasuo, right? He went for a Q, right? So watch out on his mechanics, right? So before he ults for the Rakan, right? He Q'd. And he also auto-attacked, but that auto-attack got cancelled by his ultimate because he had to ult, right? So maybe if you have more attack speed than you have right now with little tempo, it's more likely to do it if it's stacked, to go for an auto Q if someone knocks up, but this is fine as well. He went for a Q. Really important to do it because meantime you sit in your ultimate, your Q is coming up, which means you will win some time, right? And now he just kills, right? Now he just kills the attacker. Okay. Okay, now
이런 식으로 10번만 죽이고 싶다.
definitely he's just picking these things up. He's just shoving the wave. This is how to push Yasuo correctly. And I say this because of course there are gonna be some lower ranked players as well on Yasuo that watches. Any ranked players can watch this video, and often in lower ranks people don't know how to clear a wave correctly on Yasuo, in fact on any champions. It can happen, right? And then watching how he clears the wave can help a lot, or how he last hits, right? How he attacks the minions under tower to last hit them, right? It helps a lot with more so like beginners with Yasuo, right? Like not everybody gonna be at a certain like gold level or platinum or what have you, right? Not everybody gonna be at a really higher level
다른 상대는 앞으로 그냥 초반에
with
아프샨
Yasuo.
상대 하듯이 그냥 CS 다 버리고 경험치만 먹어야 돼.
So now he's pinging, right? He's pinging the Ahri right now, but everybody sees her on the map, of course. So
괜히 CS랑 즐겨하려다가 손해보는 그림이
Jartus is
나오면
bot lane right now. They are bot lane. He's moving his camera, right? He's just moving his camera. He's considering to move there. Now Viego took recently this Herald, which means he will go top or mid lane, but most likely top because he's not showing at the ward right now in the river. That's how he identified it, that Viego is not coming here because he went upwards towards the Viego. So they, towards the Riven I mean, so they dive the Yone possibly because his ultimate is not up yet, and maybe they are fishing for a dive angle, right? It's really important to identify where the enemy jungler could be before we go into an all-in, because what if the enemy jungler just sits here or whatever position he might be, and then we get into an awkward 1v2 situation which we may not win, and then we just die because we don't track where the enemy jungler is, right? Okay, Ahri wastes her ultimate, let's see if he ults. He doesn't want to commit to this fight because he's maybe scared of Viego. He didn't refillable in time either. Ahri does not have Everfrost yet, like, I'm not sure if it's like... He's playing it out safely though. It's completely fine as well if he plays it out safe. Like, I do think so he could outskill the Ahri there, but it's hard to do it, right? He didn't really wanted to, like, he's behind, he's a bit behind still, so he didn't really want to go for a skill check, right? Like many Yasuo players would ult that and try to outplay her abilities by dashing through her or sidestepping. He has a lot of movement speed right now to do it. If you wanna commit for that and you're confident you can outplay the Ahri, that's fine too. But you can also play it out safely as he did, and he played around the Ahri ultimate, and now he knows for a reason Ahri has no ult, his flash is coming up, right? So he avoided fighting Ahri, meantime she has her ultimate, and that is the safe play, right? And now she has no ultimate. Remember, she can't dash out anymore. She does not have 3 dashes. She only has a W speed and some speed from corrupting potions, which almost expired right now, right? So right now, if he gets a tornado, he might just all in the Ahri. Especially if his flash is up. Now, flash is not necessarily needed, but watch what he does, right? He knows for a reason Ahri is more vulnerable right now, right? But at the same time, we don't know where Viego is. Yuumi is hovering. Viego is coming. Now sadly Yuumi healed up the Ahri, so it just generally means it's harder to kill her. Definitely still possible, but people are hovering around Ahri. Meantime, her ultimate is off because this is a way to bait Yasuo into the fight, right? But look, he's giving it a softer approach until he gets tornado, and now he's looking for a flash. Watch out how he's moving, right? He Q'd, he tornadoed, he used everything, and watch out, he's not going through the line of the wind wall, he's staying behind it, because he knows for a reason, he doesn't want to be charmed. If he gets charmed, he might miss an all-in opportunity, right? What he does in here, he stays behind the wall, and when his Q is usable, he will either Q directly Dari, or he will EQ flash, or just E and dash and tornado Ahri from a closer range. Any of these options are completely fine. Yeah, he does it. He went for the flash play. I'm not sure if it's needed. I don't know if Ahri's flash is up yet, but that's definitely fine. Really good. From Rakan's part, he's trying to face tank those Qs from Zeri's part. Although I think she eats so that those auto attacks go through champions. His ultimate is coming in 1 minute, right? So Yasuo's ultimate cooldown got buffed, which means generally you have it up faster than other champions do, which means if you ult a champion with 110 or more cooldown on their ultimates, then you will have it faster on rotation. So, for example, like your opponent has a strong escape ultimate, right? And your ultimate has only 70 seconds cooldown, but their ultimate has a way longer cooldown. You can of course check every single ultimate cooldown up on the fandom or in the league client, right? And basically, by playing aggressively, by ulting the enemy champion, even if you don't kill them, you will force out their ultimate, like Ahri's ultimate in this case, to escape. And then, on the second rotation, when your ult is up, the enemy's ultimate generally shouldn't be up, because there are not many ultimates in the game that at level 6 you get a 70 cooldown ultimate, 70 second cooldown ultimate, right? So you can use it, even if you don't kill, you definitely can use it just to force out a flash, right? Flash has 5 minutes cooldown. Yasuo's ultimate has like 70 seconds, which is 1 minute and 10 seconds, right? So you can use it just to force out things with it, because you have almost every time after like this, right? Also, his itemization is mobility, right? He brought Zeal into Berserker, Berserker into Zeal. The reason for that is that he values mobility, he values crit, right? He values attack speed in this matchup, right? Movement speed is really important in this matchup. As well, refillables is just a general thing, is generally good on melee champions, especially against poking lanes, right?
그냥 죽어 그냥 아련 죽여 제발. 알이 있는데 너무 불리했어.
Okay.
저 이제 못 막는데.
He recasts, he gets his plates, he gets in the wave and recasts basically. Alright, so he got his general items on Yasuo, he went for agility cloak, he went for his the other thing as well, of course. How's it called?
저 친구는 이번 기회에 제대로 깨달았습니다.
I actually buy quite often that item, but I forgot its name. Quiver, Noon Quiver, or I don't even know honestly. I think it's Noon Quiver.
그냥 정말 벌써 버렸나? 이게 몇 킬이 아니야? 이럴 때가 가장.
Now he's pushing top lane. The reason for that is everybody is mid side. Now we can't see it because of my camera, but everybody is mid side. Riven is dead, so there is nobody realistically to match Yasuo when it comes to side laning on the top side. So he wants to definitely take some plates. They are for free right now, unless somebody rotates, of course. We don't see the Ahri right now. We don't see it because of my camera. Maybe they are bot lane, maybe they are not. I mean, I don't know. But it's definitely really good to look over the map before you commit into deeply fighting for plates, right? And you can even set up some wards so you make it a tiny bit more safer, right?
오. 스노우 댄스. 눈충?
Okay, he picks up the plates, really good, he picks up the wave. And now he's thinking, right, he's moving his camera, really important, right? He picks up the minions and he's already thinking of if he can comprehend the situation. He's moving the camera, he's moving his champion, right? Really important to do it when you see a fight, try to move there. It's more important when you have your ultimate up. If you don't have it up, then it's harder to roam with Yasuo, right? If your teammates have knockups or not, that matters a lot when it comes to a close fight, right? Okay, so let's see what happens in here. He's taking the plates basically. The reason for that is like people are bot lane, 2 people are dead, so it's really safe for him to do it. it's really good to identify if something is safe or not, or what's the risk out of it. You know, for example, if you take a full plated tower
뭐야 어떻게 이겼어?
and you already died quite a few times, you don't really give out too much gold and XP, then dying for the tower can be worth, you know. There's a world where you die for a tower as well, right? Definitely go. Oh, whoa. Whoa, that's an interesting purchase. So he brought Zeal, Crit Cloak. I mean, Crit Cloak gives him 80 because he's beyond the 100% limitation. So if people that didn't know, Yasuo gets like bonus damage if he has more crit than he should, more than 100%, right? It provides something definitely. I think he brought Crit Cloak because he wants to get his Infinity. In my opinion, he could also get Dead Dance in here because they are having a really heavy AD comp, but they have 2 AP champs as well, Yumi and Ahri. Both are okay options. Thing is, they are really squishy on the enemy side, so it's really easy to get resets on Dead Dance, but one is a defensive option, the other one is a offensive option. You can definitely build Dead Dance third item, so there is no rush of course. You can definitely go for a standard build, there is nothing wrong with that. But if they are like full AD or close to full AD with like with a lot of bursty assassins, definitely there is a world where you rather want to go for Dead Dance, right? Dead Dance second instead of Infinity, right? I've seen some Yasuo players going for that, that's definitely fine as well. Or Witsend second if they are really heavy on AP and they really need that extra MR, right? That extra MR to survive, and then those mobility stats, those are decent, those are okay decent stats on Yasuo, and these items are generally cheaper than Infinity as well, of course, right? So it definitely has its own advantage. Okay. Oh, that's a bummer. Okay, so he picks it up.
쟤네 썰은 치겠다. 뭐냐?
Okay, he picks his up. That's really good. Yeah, I guess this can definitely. Okay. Now, maybe I should use the mid beast more, where I meme 1000 LP, where I meme 1000 LP challenger players. Meantime, I watch their game, whatever rank they might be, you know. Just kinda, I guess that was a misplay.
손도 안 빨고 있었다.
Okay.
야, 이 게임이 이렇게 쉬워?
Now he has enough money to pick up his Infinity Edge, really good item on Yasuo. Allows him to deal shit ton of damage, right?
더 쉬워졌네.
Picked up his control ward, really important at this stage of the game because we are in the late game. Control wards generally matter a lot when they have dangerous when you have dangerous opponents. They are really good at revealing people as well that are camouflage.
아리를 만나는 거부터 억울한 거죠.
Like Diego, for example. He wants to stack up his tornado first before he exits. No, I think it was a slight mistake, but it's not a big deal at the same time. So in here I go back a tiny bit. Instead of last sitting that grump, I would stack up my tornado first, and when I have my tornado I would hex gate over. I mean, everybody is bot side mostly, as I can see, and Ahri is top side, but maybe there is a ward, somebody is sitting around and you can get the tornado done. So I would just rather like stack up tornado and go in with the tornado. Most likely they won't expect you have tornado and you will be able to knock them up to get that ultimate off, right? That's definitely like a general thing, like this is a general thing you should aim to do if hex gates are in the game, right? And here he's looking for an all-in angle, he sidestepped it really good, right? He W'd. Now he's fishing for Ahri's ultimate, right? She ulted, he will look for an EQ flash, watch out. He couldn't hit it. I think Ahri ulted or flashed. Did she ult or flash? I'm not even quite sure it went so quickly, right? I think she flashed, no? Oh no, she ulted. So, is there like a safer way he could play this out? I mean, it's a really niche situation, right? he was looking to flash, but at the same time Ahri could ult, right? Because like in these ranks, people are really expecting for that EQ flash to happen, because if Yasuo connects that, then it generally means that he's able to get an all-in on her. So I assume what he could then do, just to make it sure, he could possibly just dash through this minion, then maybe look for a flash EQ on the Ahri and not EQ flash from a minion. That's like a safer way to play it out, but it's just such a frame perfect, you know, like it's such a fun, yeah, like it's, I think, yeah, it's such a frame perfect play, you know, from Ahri's part, so it's really hard to, but he gets the tornado off anyways, right, because I agreed that for some type of short range, so that's completely fine as well.
이게 뭔 개똥 같은
Okay.
플레이냐? 이걸 못 맞춰?
Okay, so let's see what happens. He's just stacking, of course. I mean, not stacking, killing minions, right? Stacking up his gold. Okay, he's just getting his... Okay, now, guess why? He W'd in here, but why did he W, right? Because this W can parry off a close range Viego stun, right? And the side of that, this W has another importance. We don't see what's on the other side of the wall. So since there isn't much to parry on Yon, I mean not on Yon, on Viego, maximum is W, but in close range it doesn't stand for much. You can throw out a W if you feel like there is maybe somebody in here with skill shots, right? So you can do it for safety, right? It's just a safety thing. He just connects his tornado and then he just kills the guy, right? Apparently Conquerors looks like it's a better option on Yasuo. Like this is what people go for. I actually can't really judge it if it's better or worse, right? But on Yon everybody goes for or Lethal Tempo, so I'm not sure if it works both ways, right? Probably it doesn't, right? So in here he's camping for the Ahri, or let's see what he does. He's sitting in here, so watch out where he stays. He doesn't stay like in here, he stays in here because this is out of vision. Even if she comes something like this, it's out of vision, right? Is even oracling in case there is like a potential random ward in here, so that he doesn't get all in by the Ahri from... Look! Was there like a mistake in here? Maybe he could have been a bit more patient. Let's see. So the Ahri is coming. I mean, I think sitting in here is a bit better than like being in here, no? Because then you have more space to all in the Ahri, right? Or maybe what he could also do, he could just sit in here as well, which is generally a better spot if Ahri goes something like this, right? But yeah, let's see. I guess like Ahri was just expecting the Yasuo. But I think he, in here, by stepping up, he revealed himself, huh? Yeah, I think by stepping in here up, he revealed himself. But when he was in here, I think Ahri still wouldn't have vision until she goes a bit deeper, right? So it's a little bit of playing around vision mistake. I think if he wouldn't show up, actually it's hard to judge, right? It's really like a niche scenario, right? And here he's fishing for Qs, right? He's directly even holding, so watch out on his Qs. He's not spamming his Q, he's holding into his Q. Now, okay, now he spammed it, but generally he's holding into his Q because it's not accurate enough. He's waiting until it's more clear where he can Q, right? Now he Qs again, he gets a good Q off, right? And in here he just throws the tornado, right? He absolutely... oh, it's unfortunate. He EQs forward, watch out the movement, because he has shield bow, he can afford to do that. Ahri flashes and he didn't fall. Should run towards Ahri. I think he could then run towards Ahri and maybe there is a ward where he EQs the Ahri, but running away or running towards Riven is definitely not the... yeah. Like maybe just trying, you know, just trying to possibly get the Ahri would be generally better. Especially in lower ranks, like people, it's easier to get on them, right? On top of them, right? Now Ahri gets picked up, maybe Yasuo gets the assist. Let's see if he got it. I'm not sure if he got it, because the epic pen was in the area. But definitely like As you see, like it definitely takes you mechanical skill on Yasuo to beat a
Yeah.
lot of matchups, including Ahri, right? Because there are lots of things to generally watch out for, right?
어?
Nope, he got killed.
야.
It's a bit unfortunate.
누누님은 그냥 앞으로 하지 마세요.
Now he's just split pushing basically, and this is an underrated thing on Yasuo, split pushing, right? Because mid laners generally don't split push, top laners do it more so, but definitely like with many even Twisted Fate, there are many mid laners you can split push with, even Fizz, right? There are scenarios where split pushing is better. If you wanna split up the enemy team comp, if they are so good in team fights, or they are really good if they stick together, right? Or if you have assassins in the team like Kha'Zix, Rengar, Evelynn, because if you split up the enemy comp, then it's easier for Evelynn and Rengar to generally assassinate. So there is definitely like, there is like
라칸
a
단단해.
world where you side lane as Yasuo. In fact, you can do it like I would say 20-30% of your game. There is like a world where you split push side lane. And so like there is
성이 나가면 또
definitely
그래.
place. There is definitely place to split push, and you gotta recognize when to do it, right? But usually Yasuo is more so a teamfight oriented champion because his team has a lot of knockups for him. Well, his ultimate does a lot in these team fights, right? There are squishes, which means if they get ulted by Yasuo, they might just be dead, right? So it's like really good. Okay. So he wants to get his GA, he has already his stopwatch, but I do believe the game. I think they surrender, no? Yeah, I think they surrender from this point. He gets his GA because he values defensive stats. It's cheaper than Dead Dance, and he can get stopwatch out of GA, which means one good stopwatch use can provide your team some kills. It provides you some outplay potential, and generally after using at least one stopwatch you wanna buy GA, but if you can buy GA on curve you should go for it, right?
야
Like
이거
if you feel
이렇게
like the game won't go too long, then get GA over Dead Dance. But like there are scenarios where Dead Dance can also backfire if they have lots of ranged poke, like Serat, Ezreal, even a brand support, whatever. If they have like lots of ranged poke, like J-Stop, Dead Dance can backfire as well, the true damage. So it's not always that good, right? It can backfire, so that's definitely a thing to consider. But that's it for the Ahri versus, Yasuo versus Ahri matchup, right? Just feel free to leave a comment in the comment section if anybody is uh, looking for a guide on a specific matchup. It can be any lane. It doesn't have to be mid lane. It doesn't have to be with the champions I specifically coach or review gameplays with. It can be anything.